Hello guys and welcome to another edition of Rage Against the Dice. Today it's Kev, hi, and Alan.
Hello.
And it's Alan continuing to work on his Caradron Overlord Engineer, is that what it's called? I can't remember without looking.
I was going to say, you've caught me then. I don't have the box to look at.
I've named him Tim.
Tim.
Alan's going to be doing a little more of the paint work on him today.
Yep.
We're going to be learning just some more basic... In fact, these are probably more normal features, such as just painting an area or a block of colour and then putting a wash on it and then a highlight. So the first thing we're going to do is the wiring, which you're going to do black, which is just around the back, and it just goes from the weapons to his steampunk-esque.
That one there and that one there.
It is indeed. Again, because we're set up really awkwardly...
Yeah, this isn't the best angle.
It's not so bad because I can zoom into it.
Okay.
So we're going to be mixing up Abaddon Black on the palette. Again, we're using a dry palette because I want to teach him on a normal palette before I start teaching him wet palettes. Teach you to walk before you can run, etc. So Alan's going to do that now. He's going to, again, we've got our 2 water glasses, which is something I usually insist on. One for a clean in your brush and the other for mixing and giving your brush that kind of final clean, just to make sure it gets the filth out. So we want to be using Abaddon Black, which is Games Workshop black paint, and it's a base paint. If you're at home and you want to use it and you don't use Games Workshop paints, it's just whatever Vallejo or whoever you use is black. So you want to get using the big brush.
So this one?
That's basically one I use purely for mixing paints.
Okay.
You want to shake up the paint. That's always really, really important because Games Workshop paints are notorious for going lumpy and thick. What I tend to do is once a pot gets about a quarter of it gone, I'll usually throw in a stainless steel ball bearing to help mix the paint up. You'll notice, not on that one actually, but you can hear it in there. So you want to put like sort of 1 brush full to 2 water on your palette.
So 1 brush full onto the palette.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's kind of thing. And then you're just wanting to get.
Then wash this off.
Yeah, wash it off.
Yep.
And then from that same one, because you're using black.
Okay. And then two dollops of water.
Yeah. And then kind of mix it together until you get something you're comfortable with. The only thing that I forgot to do is grab some kitchen roll.
Right.
Dodoy, as it were. Should always use kitchen roll or a bit of blue cloth or something. Blue roll, which to me always sounds like loo roll. But it's the best for painting because you can usually get it dirt cheap and a kajunga full of it. So that brush needs to be cleaned now, and then we're going to be using the white triangle brush.
Okay.
Which I forgot what it's called.
I don't know. I was hoping
it'll tell you just on there. So it's a Wargamer Regiment brush.
Oh right, okay. Yeah, sure.
It's by Army Painter. And then you're just going to paint on, and usually we do 2 thin coats, as you know, you've heard me jokingly and genuinely say. And you're just painting the areas that specifically need to be painted.
Right, and that, as we said, was this tubing.
Yep. And again, you're taking it really slow, which is the best way to be, especially if you're first painting.
Yeah.
I mean, you've watched me paint little bits anyway. I tend to go quite fast, but that's just because I've been painting since forever.
Got a loose hair on.
If you do, like as in just a random hair, or is it from the brush itself?
No, it seemed to be a random hair.
I like to stash them around the house.
I see.
It's like my hobby.
You need another hobby.
Yes, I do. Wargaming only takes up so much time. I'm kidding, it takes up all my time.
Yeah,
Between work, my children, and faking headaches. I don't have a lot of time, but what I do have is always wargaming related. Or playing XCOM 2.
I've noticed you've been on that.
It's a really good game to play if you're a parent, because it's turn-based.
Yeah.
So if the children kick off, or I need to go and like get a drink for one of the boys in the middle of the night, I don't have to worry about other people. And, like if you're playing an online game and someone says, "Can you do this now?" You're like, "Well, not really."
Yeah.
So yeah, XCOM 2 is my go-to game for that.
Okay, that is, I think, done.
So let me
In terms of just the first.
have a gander and a goose. Whomsh. So yeah, it's nice enough, neat. That's always a good start, a good sign, a good words.
Something.
Yeah, I like it.
Cool.
So what you do is you'd wait for it to dry,
Yeah.
and then you'd finger blast out a second coat over it.
Yeah.
Which it depends how watery it is, but sometimes by the time you've done one of the pipes, the second pipe's dry.
Yeah.
But again, it depends on your watery consistency. I tend to go more watery, which I can see you have as well. And that's just because you're doing what I tell you to.
I was going to say,
Really?
I can see you've made that choice. I was like,
Yeah.
well, I didn't
you
so much
did.
make that choice. I followed directions.
Yeah, like a good little... yeah. Yes. That. So now what we'll do, because we're waiting for that to dry, one thing I always do with my brushes is always try and get a point on them afterwards.
Okay.
You can use your hand, or I more preferably just use my mouth. And it makes a nice little point.
Explains a lot of that lead poisoning you have.
Yeah, it does indeed. No, it's why I don't use certain paints, because they have to be non-toxic.
Yeah.
What we're going to do is we're going to...
glug down that much paint in a year.
We're going to do the silvers now, and with this we're going to use Iron Breaker. Normally you'd start with a much darker silver, but because we already have all the base metals done, it should be okay.
And what are we doing silver?
We are going to pick out certain little details.
Right.
So these pipes
Yeah.
here, the pipes at the front.
Yeah. Like sort of the struts on the
Yeah,
armour, yeah.
the middle bit of the mace thing,
Okay, yeah.
where it looks like a cog. And really, for now, that's it. We'll probably pick out more bits later on, but we're just going to concentrate on those for now, because I don't want to overload you, as it were. So we're going to just mix up the paint exactly the same way as we would with the black. Just do it next to it. Don't do it in the black.
No.
Sometimes that's advantageous. But for sort of what we want to do.
We're not doing mixing.
No, when mixing paints and stuff, the only thing to try and avoid is getting paint on the metal of the brush.
Yeah.
But
which I have unfortunately done there.
it's fine. It wipes off. It's basically you don't want it to dry on there.
Right. So because this is silver rather than black,
Go for the clean water.
Yeah. Okay. 2, wasn't it?
Yeah. Because it's a metal, 1 might be enough. Give that a mix first, and then see. And that's the thing, you can always start with 1, and if you need to, you can add more, whereas if you go straight for adding more, you have to then try and bring it back up.
Yeah.
So try it on like one of the pipes or something like that, because it's a flat, straight bit, and you'll be able to see whether it's coating well enough or not.
This is slightly awkward with the camera and the light and the everything, because I want to do it so that it can be seen by the camera, but then I also want to be able to see close up what I'm doing.
Yes, this is why I don't do a lot of painting tutorials.
Yeah.
And plus I tend to get in the zone and I'll throw on some music, and you can't be blasting out shawaddy waddy.
Shawaddy waddy.
You know it's my go-to music.
Of course.
My dirty secret. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is, while you're doing this bit, because it's not a massively necessary bit, you're just going to top up some bits, and you're not showing a new technique, really, because it's exactly what you did on the black. So I'm going to stop the camera here.
Yep.
Once you've got that first coat on, we'll come back so you can do your second coat on it.
Right.
And it means we can say really offensive things.
Nice.
Because, we have to moderate ourselves and keep our abuse down to a minimum.
Absolutely, yeah.
You don't want people to know what we really think about them.
Hey.
Yeah. So yeah, back in a minute, guys, and we'll have a look at where he's got to. So this is where we're up to so far. Alan has added some little bits just to make it pop, as it were. Picked out some nice little detailing. So after he did the bits that I suggested he did, I just said find some bits that you really want to pick the silver out of. Pick the silver out of sounds like you're beating it up. But yeah, so now what he's going to do is he's going to get the null oil wash, and he's going and you're going to wash the black and silver areas.
Right.
Now I would put this on a palette. I would give it a shake, put it on a palette, but I would do one brush to about 3/4 water, so not even a full brush water.
Yeah.
Because you don't want it to be too watery. And while he's setting that up, I'm going to show you what I'm currently working on. Oh yes, the lighting's perfect for this. So I am starting to make some more bits of scenery using the polystyrene that came from some cool stuff we got my son. So yeah, good for him, good for me. I'm using CDs as bases because CDs are pretty good and they don't warp. If you have a load of old CDs lying around, because you probably do, because no one ever throws anything away and CDs are pretty much useless now, unless you still live in the 90s. And if you do,
in my car.
Shut up, do you?
I do.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you just listened to podcasts over and over.
When I'm not listening, I don't listen to the same ones over
He
and
does, the same
when
one.
I'm not listening to
It's an
podcasts,
ABBA tribute podcast.
or listening to music off my phone, like say the phone battery died, I just whip my hand in my little compartment, pull out a CD.
This is all sounding very dubious.
Typically either Queen or Beastie Boys to suggest a range of my musical taste.
I like
the boy bands.
Yeah, I don't judge you.
Queen the boy band, Beastie Boys the boy band.
Indeed. So yeah, so I'm making some scattery bits of terrain, and I like to use CDs for that. So
Yeah,
as
that's
you
what
can
we were
see,
talking about.
I've got kind of 3 hilly bits. But yeah, so Alan's about to get his Alon. I like Alan, but Alon. Yeah, one thing I would say is if you are painting, make sure you have a drink to hand. Mainly just because you don't want to stop your flow of awesome painting. To go off and have to make yourself some kind of drink-based beverage.
Of course.
Indeed. Now, I am going to be chopping polystyrene in the background, so I do apologise to anyone who hates the sound of polystyrene, but you should expect that from me.
Well, this isn't going to take long. We'll be done in a second.
That is a fair point. You are going to give it a second coat, though.
Oh, yeah.
Just due to inherent racism in non-oil paint.
Of course.
So yeah, when you are chopping polystyrene, make sure to use a knife, such as these are really good. It looks like, because of the positioning, that I'm trying to chop off your finger, but I'm really not. We're quite a ways apart.
Yeah.
Like, I can move a bit closer and still do the same.
And I can move closer as well.
Then we're going to have
Try this at home, kids.
Yeah.
Play with knives with your friends.
Oh, Alan.
Well, we can sort them back on, depending on where you do the cut.
That's a fair point, actually.
So
But
yeah, totally try it at home.
don't try it at home.
Try it at home. Okay, sorry, disclaimer, don't try it at home.
Yeah.
I am just being silly. Right, so I'm done with doing...
Yeah, you are. And you did the black and the silver?
I've done the black and the silver. It appears to be drying very fast.
It will do, because of the
we'll...
lies inherently in no oil.
Yes.
I stand by that.
And then obviously we'll do the second coat.
Yes.
Straight away? Oh, actually, I'll have to get some more.
Indeed.
Because it's dried on the palette as well.
As soon as you are able. With it being a wash, and because you're watering it down, it might even need a third. The good thing about washes is you just add it till you get a darkness or a shadow that you're comfortable with. Mm-hmm. So if that happens in one take, that's cool. If it's 3 or 4, then that's absolutely fine as well. It's just you get it to, as I said, the kind of shading you want it for. Areas like, on the hammer, flip it over for a second, where you've got that little line, you can try and use one of the thinner brushes just to put a line going in that shadow, because that's basically all the wash is doing. It's seeping into the
recesses.
Recesses, that was the word I couldn't think of. I was like, is that a monkey reference? No, that's a recess monkey. They're different.
Right.
But yes.
So a super thin brush. That one?
Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, because I just realised the other one I've given you is my beautiful Winsor & Newton. I'm going to take that away because it's my pride and joy.
sorry, jeez.
No, it's okay. Oh, no, it isn't. It isn't. It is my Winsor & Newton. It's just my basic highlighting brush. I have a series of brushes that I use for painting my stuff, and I have brushes that I use for doing commissions.
Oh, actually, I can see how this is working on this groove here.
The reason I don't use my really, really expensive brushes for commissions is usually because I do mass armies, and that has a tendency to muck up your brushes a bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just one of those things. All the little techniques I'll show you, as I said, most people will already know them, or they'll know a version of them. So, for you, you'll be learning some new stuff. For some people watching, they'll be maybe refreshers.
Yeah, it's just
techniques they don't use anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I know after we did the dry brushing one, I had a couple of people who were like, oh yeah, I don't really dry brush anymore. I might give that a blast again.
Yeah.
And I was a bit confused, because I was like, you paint armies, but you don't dry brush?
Yeah.
Like,
how do you not?
Yeah. Like, are you one of those cool people who like your miniatures to look good?
Ooh.
I've just realised we're filming and I'm walking back and forth while still talking.
Yeah.
So that might go in and out of camera.
Right. I don't know how much of what I was doing there was even on camera.
No, everything I've got the camera just faced at what you're doing.
Oh, nice. Okay, well then that's me at this stage.
Nice. I'm
Done.
going to
So we
chop
just
into this.
pause while you cut because I'm not doing anything.
No, I want them to hear the noise.
What if people have headphones on?
I want them to know that what I'm doing is for them.
This is torture for them.
Yeah, it is. Rage Against the Dice. First we were gaming, then we were modelling, now we're torture porn.
Oh, jeez.
Something for everyone.
Yeah.
There'll be that one fan who likes everything I just named. Just like I was with you when you were doing Rumbleslam. I'm loving your hills, and now...
as soon as you started cutting polystyrene, I started unbuttoning my jeans.
Squeak for me.
What?
Yeah, this
filthy crowd we have.
Yeah, I love them.
I'm going off them quite quickly.
How very dare. So the next skill we're actually going to learn is highlighting. Oh yes, this is more advanced skillage. So what we're going to do is, and we're using a colour called Stormhorse Silver, which you can't read because we've got the lighting at a different angle. There you go. So give that a violent shake because it's getting near the end of the pot.
This is the one with the ball bearing in.
And that's the one with the ball bearing in. Yeah, so we get that nice and mixed. What we're going to do is once the wash is dried, we're going to get some of that on a palette as you normally would. And then we're going to use the thin highlight brush, which is the one you were using before. Yeah, which is a small layer brush, I believe it says on it. Layer brush and an S. It says,
yes, small layer.
Yes, so we're using a small layer for that. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the silver just to pick out the edges. So any raised areas of silver, much like with the dry brushing. Is this a technique I'm going to need to show you, or is it a technique I think you'll get?
I'm not entirely certain I know what it is you're describing me to do. So like the little lumps that are there.
So like where that's raised up, for instance, I know that's like bronze. You just catch those bits.
Okay.
But like here, you just catch these edges.
Right.
So it's one you have to be quite steady with. But you're just catching sort of the edge parts of it.
Right.
To let it stand out. So if your wash is dry and you're happy you don't want to give it another coat of wash.
I don't think it's entirely dry, but it's about dry, yeah.
Then what we'll do is we'll stop the camera while we wait for it to dry off. Because the last thing you want on a highlighting stage is to be getting wet wash.
Well, it was just as soon as you were showing that example there, I saw it.
Well, we'll give it a few minutes to chill, let you drink your warm beverage whilst it's still... It is coffee.
While it's still warm.
Like, I tried to make, like, keep that vague in case they're like, they're caffeine addicts. We can't watch them. Tweakers.
Warm. It's just warm tequila.
Yes.
A mug of tequila. Hot.
There's got to be some of our fans that is ideal for. And if there isn't, we don't want to know those people. Like, I'm straight edge. I don't even drink alcohol, but I still don't want to associate with anybody else who doesn't drink alcohol. They're wrong. I know it.
You want to be
they know it.
You want to be that only person in the group who doesn't drink.
You know that douchey guy who every time you're like, do you want to drink? And like, I don't drink. Vegans are the same.
And
or gluten-free people.
You can't even be the designated driver either, which
no, I
is
cannot.
more annoying.
But
it's like, hey Kev, do you want to come for a night out? Do we have to ask him?
No, but I provide entertainment.
You do.
Usually abuse.
You provide bucket loads in of entertainment. Because that's the metric for entertainment, isn't it? It's buckets.
I measure them in buckets. So
or heaps.
No, I don't heaps anymore.
Yeah.
I do measure fat people in jowls, though. Because I register 3 on the jowlometer these days.
Oh.
But before Parker was born, I was only 1.
Yeah.
So more jowls equals higher on the jowlometer.
The Jabba jowls.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So I register like a 3 now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's not too shabby. I'm trying to get up to a 5 so that I can get my own slave girls and palace. But, living the dream. Anyway,
Yes.
we'll let that dry. We'll come back and we'll finish off the finishing off. So we're back. I have nothing to squeak this time, which is a polystyrene reference, in case you've just joined us. It's not a live chat, so why are you skipping 5 minutes in?
at this stage.
Yeah, it's like, I don't like the start of their videos, but 15 minutes in, that's when it gets rapey.
Oh my god.
You know it's true. No. That is bad.
I didn't. You
Bad, Alan. Yeah, no, but that's because you were talking about how it's fun earlier. It doesn't matter, it's on the internet now, it must be true.
Misunderstood.
Yeah.
Right, anyway. So, what are we doing here?
So what we are doing is you're mixing up an appropriate amount of this Stormhost silver.
Okay.
So
am
you
I
can
using...
just use the fat mixing.
Right.
Old fatty there.
So just 1 and...
Done.
So one of the paint and then...
And then about 1 water. But again, just testing it the same way you did with the other one.
Right.
You just always have to remember, while you're doing it, it's better to add less water and then have to add more water
absolutely.
than using words incorrectly.
Of course.
I got confused somewhere along that way. And then I'm going to get you out your highlight for your black as well. Ready for...
Right.
Because there was some black, as I recall. And then there's things like the eyes and stuff, which we're going to do next.
So, we're running it across...
The raised areas.
The raised areas.
Because it's a more bright silver and it's where the light would catch it. Think of the Lion King. So this is everything that...
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, Simba. Let's do this.
Would I not technically be Mufasa?
I am Mufasa. I'm Mufasa saying to Simba.
Ah. Are you sure I'm not Mufasa telling you that everything the light touches is where you have to put paint on? And you're Simba. You could be Zazu if you want.
Zazu? Was that the bird?
Yeah, the douchey bird. You are basically my Zazu. And I'm Mufasa, which would make Parker Simba and Harley, I don't know. Is there a girl lion?
Yeah. In the second one.
Oh, in the second one.
Nala?
No, Nala's the one in the first one, but she and Simba,
What? What?
Well, when a man lion and a lady lion love each other very much, sometimes they'll, have intercourse. And I don't think that Harley and Parker should do that. So maybe we should pick a female lion for Harley that Simba doesn't end up slamming. I'll Google it. You paint while I Google. I won't. I've just realised I filled my computer desk with polystyrene. So much polystyrene. My God, people, if you got polystyrene, send it my way. No, I will not say that. Imagine the influx of people who are like, finally I can clear out my shed.
Yeah.
Oh, it'll be mush like my shed was.
Yeah, your shed of polystyrene just turned to mush.
I also found that my tools, loads of them had gone rusty, so I think maybe it's my shed's the issue more than like sheds in general.
Well, yeah, I don't think it was a cursed shed.
You can't prove that it's not a cursed shed.
Well, no, the burden of proof is on you to prove it is a cursed shed.
I'm not sure that's how proving cursed sheds works. I think we should just listen and believe that my shed is cursed. And then you don't even need to find proof. You just have to accept, because I've said it, that it was true.
I've screwed up from laughing now.
What have you done?
I went over a line.
Was it...
Right, let's throw this away.
Was it a bronze line or was it a silver line?
It was here. I've accidentally gone into the bronze area.
That's okay, we can fix that.
We can?
Yes.
Yay!
Well, you don't even... Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I can, at that point, teach you what you do when your friend's messing around and making you laugh. Okay. To fix things. Luckily, because of the colour you're using as well, it's not the end of the world, because we actually used this same silver for a very light dry brush, as I recall, to make it pop. But we can use a sepia wash over the top anyway, just to take some of that shine away from that silver bit. If we don't want to, or you can just Sycorax over the top. Yeah, that's what you like. Right. So you've hit all those silvers now.
I believe so.
Let's have a goose and a gander. So I can see this. If you people at home can't see this, that's because the lights.
Let me move the light. There you go.
You're spoiling them. They're going to keep coming back to our channel if you keep offering these kind of services. See, you offer these things and I have to keep up them.
I like it.
I know.
I'm happy with this. I am pleased with this.
I'm liking it.
I'm not happy that I went over the line. I may sort of harm myself later, but
it's
overall,
okay.
I'm happy.
You distract him. I'll grab some cigarette. In fact, while you're doing it, do the same thing to the black, but with Eshin Grey. What you can do is you can take Eshin Grey and mix it into that black that's still relevant.
Okay.
Because,
still relevant.
Yeah.
Unlike your political ideologies.
How very dare you? You can't tell me that the giant Martian fish brigade aren't a true party. They're the only true party.
So, take a dollop of this and mix it into what was that black?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we'll be able to show a little bit of blending.
Oh.
I'm not going to teach you any wet blending or anything sensual like that.
Sensual, you say?
No, the way I do it, it is. I make it look like an art form.
Do you?
Well, it's painting. Everything's an art form.
Of course.
Except the way I do it.
Well, that's not what the coroner said.
Yes.
Well, actually, no, he did. He praised you on it being quite artful.
Apparently, never had he seen so many knife strokes in the same area.
Oh.
That was quite impressive.
Yeah, especially for a gunshot wound.
I know.
Right.
Well, I actually put a knife in the gun. So instead of a bullet, I was firing small little paring knives.
Oh, I like it.
I know.
I need the light back over here for this.
Yeah, you do.
Right.
Everything the light touches, baby. So, yeah, you're doing exactly the same as you did to the silver, except the bit where you go over the lines.
Thanks.
You are most welcome, sir. I mean, if you feel the need, talk a little dirty to it. You know, anything to help you get through it.
Well, I don't... Again, this isn't going to be very joke heavy because I'm trying to concentrate and stay still and not laugh like I did before.
Are you sure?
No. Right,
Man walks into a bar. He says, ow.
Oh, my God. Oh, my
Man
God.
walks down the street. Turns into a chemist. He says, that'll save me going to uni. That's pretty good, isn't it?
Oh, my... Oh, jeez. I'm sorry. Public apology, but... I'm sorry, everyone who watches this now.
What? You know you're going to be blasting out these granddad jokes. I call them granddad jokes.
Yeah, they're not even dad jokes. These are...
No, these are ones that I genuinely heard my granddad tell me.
Yes. Right, okay, is that bit done?
Awesome. So now what we're going to do is a couple of lunges.
Right.
No, we're not. Oh. Not yet. I fixed that bit for you. I don't know if you saw. Yeah? Can you see?
What?
The bit that you'd gone over.
Yeah, when? How?
When you were mixing up paint.
I never saw anything.
Oh.
I'm so unobservant.
I am swift. No, what you would do now is you would, the same way you did before, you'd make Eshin Grey on its own.
Right.
As a final highlight to the black. And with this, you're going to do basically like one thin line. So Eshin Grey's there.
Oh, yeah.
So put it on the palette by itself. And you'll pick the most raised area of each of the pipes. And you will just put a thin line of it.
Right.
Trust me, it'll work. You'll be good.
Okay.
Just believe in me. I promise I won't tell any stupid jokes.
Listen
Dad
and believe.
or otherwise.
Listen and believe.
Yes,
okay.
Listen and believe.
Right. Is that lid on?
It doesn't matter. It's a Games Workshop paint. Whether you put the lid on or not, it's going to dry out. Usually within a couple of days of you buying it.
Right, so I've got a tiny bit on a tiny brush.
Yes.
And then I'm just going to very lightly...
Bring it over the very raised edges.
I think that was too heavy.
It's okay. It's okay. Just remember, you've seen the film Taken, right? Sorry, that was my fault.
I hate you.
Welcome to learn how to paint with a dickhead.
Right, okay.
He'll teach you all the skills you need to get frustrated whilst painting a model.
Indeed. Okay, so there.
Let me have a look.
Okay.
That's actually absolutely fine.
Yay!
If it was on like a different area, a thinner one would have worked better. But because it's a pipe area and it's kind of a large, flatter area, it works just as well. If it had just a single like point line down it,
sure,
it would probably have been a little annoying, to be honest. It would have stood out more. But no, so that was kind of how you would work. That's how I work. Remember I was saying before last time with golds?
Yeah.
I would go Warplock Bronze and then I would mix Sycorax in with it and then I would go Sycorax on its own.
Yeah, so like when I was doing like sort of 3 or 4 steps, you would do 8.
Yes.
Yeah,
well, that's exactly how I would do it. So with that, I would go black and I would add a bit of Eshin Grey. I would then add a bit more Eshin Grey to the same black.
I see, yeah.
And because I work on a wet palette, the paint will stay wet the whole time. And I'll just keep adding more of that colour in until it's basically just Eshin Grey now. And then I would move on to the next grey down on my chart. And I would then keep doing the same with that.
Sure.
But that's only if I'm painting like a single model or it's like an expensive commission piece. I wouldn't be doing that if I'm painting like 30 Mordor orcs.
Yeah.
You're getting like 3-4 colours. But yeah, so it depends on the model you're painting. Like, you're putting a lot of effort into this because A's your first model and B is like one of your main characters. When you paint your big unit of Arkanauts, I think that's what they're called, you won't be putting this level of detail in.
No.
Oh, pardon.
Unless I have all the time in the world.
Exactly.
Which I don't.
Because I used to, when I first started, I tried to put as much detail into a unit of 10 models or a unit of 50 clan rats as I would into a leader. And I would be like, I don't understand why it's taken me this long to paint this many clan rats. And obviously it's because I'm trying to paint them the same as I would one guy. Yeah. Especially as, like, we're playing tabletop gaming, it has to look good from a certain distance. Yeah. Like, most of the time, a table is about the height of this table, which you guys can't see. I'll zoom it out.
This is a table.
Yeah. So, like a normal-sized person standing. So, not me.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
Normal-sized person standing next to a table.
Yeah,
it's only around junk height.
This is kind of the height that most people will see your model from.
Yeah.
And your model looks really, really good from a closer height. So, from this height, it looks perfectly fine. And that's the thing to remember. Unless you're, like, trying to enter a showcase or you're trying to, like, win a painting competition, it just needs to look good. It needs to look good from a certain distance. If you want to put more effort in, that's perfectly fine.
Of course, yeah.
But, like, the thing people get bogged down with and the reason people are like, I don't want to paint, is for things like that. They're like, I won't do it justice. I won't make it very good. It doesn't need to look perfect. It just needs to look good from you stood up height, staring down at it, and your opponent doing the same. And that varies between my 3'8" and your 7'9". That kind of height range is where you're working. So I like to get a dwarf who's a bit taller than me. And I'll usually get him to stand next to my games table and be like, look down at that. Does that look okay? And if he thinks it's good,
that counts as sexual harassment.
That's true. And then I'll get an elf, who's usually a lot higher. Yeah. And I'll say, what do you think of that? And obviously he's an elf, so he'll whinge. Yeah. And so then the dwarf will kill him, and everyone's happy. Yay! Yay! So what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the little bits next. So we're going to look at which bits you want to pick out and which colours. And then we're going to come back. So I'm going to stop the video now, because you deciding what colour to paint an eye and what colour to paint a nipple.
Enjoying for the viewer.
Yeah, and they're thinking, I just want to hear more of those terrible jokes again. They don't. Don't worry, I've got loads more.
They don't want to hear any more.
Back in a minute, guys. So we have decided, after much debate, what Alan's going to do is we're going to take the path of gold, and he's going to pick out some of the more notorious highlights. He's going to pick out some of the detailing and things like that. He's going to do maybe the point of the hammery bit that looks like a drill, actually. It's pretty cool.
Piece, yeah.
Yeah, and some of the other bits. So we're going to go Balthazar gold. We're going to go Gaiaman's gold. Then we're going to go Auric Armor gold, and then we're going to finish off with Liberator gold, and we're going to use brown washes in between.
Layers that we're sort of doing in, is that
yes,
right?
it is.
Yeah.
Exactly as we did the original one, except because it's just the finicky areas, we're not going to do any dry brushing or anything like that.
Okay.
It's going to be all brushwork. But it's basically the same technique that you just learnt anyway. So
Right.
it's that same, mix it up, put a coat on.
Yep.
If it needs a second coat, give it a second coat. Usually with your base coat, like your Balthazar gold, it's going to. And then we're going to be using the washes in between. And for this, we're going to use an Agrax Earthshade. But you could use like a sepia wash or whatever suits your wash base needs, essentially.
Essentially.
Indeed.
All the kids shorten words these days. It's
Yes,
the thing.
yes, they do. And that's why I cut them. I just mean with a knife.
Oh,
Nothing weird.
That's okay. So
and
are we doing it
my hills at this stage.
typically one dab, 2 water?
Yeah. Always, especially when you're first starting out, like your initial base coats and stuff, because you want to cover the colours.
Yeah.
You want to be mixing the consistencies. It's better to go thinner paint, more coats.
Yeah.
And as you get more experience, you'll know when you should be adding more water and less water. But for now, if we keep on a very strict Games Workshop-esque path of watery 2 coats, that sorts you out. Because as you've seen with me, there's times I'll just blend it on the back of my hand.
Yeah, that's true.
And there's other times when I'll use a palette. There are occasions, like with washes and stuff, I'll use them straight out the pot. Don't judge me, internet. You don't know what I've been through. Nothing, really.
You don't know me.
You ain't my homie.
Okay, so I'm going for these accented areas.
Yes, you are. So, like with the belt, the little loincloth thing on the belt, you would maybe pick the 1st and 3rd and 5th, and you'd go down and you'd do those in the gold. You'd pick like the little dwarf markings on the shoulders. You would pick the drill bit and the chain on the hammer. You might pick some of the definitions on the weapon. You just pick bits that stand out. And again, as we were saying when we were discussing what you wanted to do with it and stuff, we're specifically doing this on him because he's a character. You wouldn't necessarily do this if you were painting rank and file.
Yeah.
Although it would depend on you personally. There are those people who just paint and don't like to game, who might spend as much time on an individual model.
Yeah, so when you're going for a really sort of artistic angle and aesthetic angle for that pleasure, rather than the gaming standard that's needed.
Like, if your main thing is painting, there's no reason you would rush through a unit of models.
Yeah.
But if, like we're getting them ready to teach you to paint, but also get them to a gaming standard, so we can use them.
Yeah.
Then you'd spend a little more time. You'd rush through them a bit more. And again, it will all depend on just what those models are for. Like when we do when we build your Tau and paint your Tau for the Taylor 2 gamers, you're probably going to spend less time painting those.
Sure.
Because Tau are horrible to paint.
I can't wait.
I tried to warn you.
Did you?
Yes.
I don't recall.
You always conveniently forget when it suits you. It's one of your best features.
Yes.
Your insanely unreliable nature when it's at your benefit.
My benefit?
Yeah. You're like, what? I don't remember that.
Because this doesn't seem like my benefit. This sounds like it's at my demise.
Well, tower who you liked, so tower what you went with.
I guess.
I was like, it's your funeral type of...
Okay.
Type of... Jimmy. Oh, Timmy. Ah, no Timmy.
No.
I just like Timmy. He's my favourite South Park character.
Yeah. Right.
Because we've been rewatching Breaking Bad, and for me, finishing Breaking Bad, because I never got right the way at the end. The character, the son, just reminds me of Timmy. And I love him because he reminds me of Timmy. Because I love Timmy. So yeah, let's say Timmy repeatedly. I wonder how many times you could say it on a channel. Ooh, maybe we could do a thing. Where we just...
I've been told I'm not allowed to do things anymore.
Oh, right, yeah. But we could get a thermometer in the corner.
Thermometer?
Yeah, so every time someone says Timmy, it just pings an extra one. It could be a thing.
It can't.
Maybe we could get it on other people's videos and maybe other people will talk about how cool Timmy is.
No.
No, let us know.
None of that's going to happen.
No, you're right.
Just be aware.
Yeah, let's just lay that out now for everyone.
Oops.
So yeah, Balthazar Gold's not a strong colour as such, so you will probably need a couple of coats.
Sure. Yeah, so I'm not really talking very much at this point.
That's okay, that's what the people prefer anyway.
Oh.
Just going by what the comments say.
Oh.
That's not true. Usually they say, why is it always Kev on the videos? And I say, because Alan doesn't get let out much. That's why you call permission slip. Except you haven't been permission slip for a while.
I've been going my own way.
My dad still calls you anal though, which makes me laugh my butt off.
Delightful.
I know.
Right, okay, that's coat one.
So, my son still calls you Albert.
I know, yeah. That's...
Good times.
Yeah, indeed. So, oh yeah, and the chain on the hammer as well, I forgot that.
Indeed. Well, technically you haven't forgot any of it. Like, if you choose not to do a bit, that's absolutely fine. Like, don't hold yourself to some impeccable standard.
I thought that was my role here on this channel.
No, your role is to bring me cakes.
Oh.
And you have been an unsuccessful failure recently.
Oh.
Just in life, though.
Oh.
No, in the cake thing. Life is still cool.
Yay! Right, okay.
I take it back.
No! No takesy backsies.
Oh, no. So I'm just butchering up a bit of polystyrene, as you can hear.
Okay, right, there we go. That is that dude's first coat.
Nice.
Done.
So I'm just going to let the peeps at home, whoever they
I don't know
may
if you
be...
can really see much at this stage.
No, because reasons. No, so you can start to pick out where those goldsies are. So yeah, it will need a second coat.
Yeah.
And once you've given it the second coat, we're going to put an Agrax Earthshade wash over it.
Okay.
So I'm going to stop this while I'm doing the really squeaky bit.
Yeah, plus it's also shaking the table while you're doing it as well.
You are loving it. You know what they say, if the tables are rocking, you're going to mess up your painting.
Just saying, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, we'll come back and say Harlan's done in a minute. While I get down to some hardcore squeaking.
There we go.
So, what Alan's done at this stage is he's painted it gold. He then added a wash. He's then done the first highlight, which, unfortunately, the stupidness... No, that's it. So you can see where it's on the leotard, on his onesie.
It's not a leotard or a onesie.
It's a leotard onesie.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, what he's going to do next is he's going to move on to this, which is Auric Armor Gold, and he's going to hit that with 102, because you don't need to do another wash at this stage.
No.
So I'm going to let you get on with that. I'm going to wander off and chase horses and things.
Oh, cool.
I like horses.
My lovely horse.
Indeed. And I shall be back sometime tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
So we've got to a kind of bit that we're going to end today off with. Because it's getting late on and because my partner's going to be home soon and everybody knows if Alan's here and she's here at the same time, paradox. I'm just saying, I'm not saying that one of you transitioned into the other, but I've never seen you both in the same room at the same time.
I have to step outside, put on a wig.
And then come back in. Nice. So we've kind of got it to this really, really nice stage. Because you can't pick it up very well here, I'm going to get Alan to take a couple of pictures of it. And I'll stick them on the end of the video.
Cool.
So people can at least see where we're at with it. What he's going to do, though, on all the silver bits and all the bits he's just done gold, he's going to give them a wash of known oil gloss. Now, this is a Games Workshop paint. It's really, really good. You're going to have to really shake it, though. Like you're going to town on a plumber or something.
Jesus.
Because you can't afford to pay the absorbitant bill he's just offered you and given you. Whatever. Just tug that like there's no tomorrow. That's probably enough for beast. You can for this particular purpose, because we're running low on time and stuff, and because of what you need it for, you're probably okay to use it straight from the pot.
And I'm just washing it over the silver and the bits we've just painted gold.
Yes. Okay. And then it'll show us, it'll just pick out a bit of definition, it'll add a bit of metal shine to it. Right. And then we'll know if there's any bits we need to just edge highlight a bit more. It's very, very good for that. So I would just use the small brush.
Oh, the super small?
No, probably the brush you picked up would be more than fine, actually.
Okay.
And you just wash in those areas. I use it quite a lot when I'm doing like Western guns and things like that. Which is why I get those effects on the pistols that make them look a bit old and like used and not straight from the factory floor, as it were. And it works really, really well for that. So try it on like the chain first on the hammer, so you can see kind of what you're going for.
Is that picking up, or is my hand in the way?
No, that's picking up nicely. So what I'm going to do, because in terms of the video, there's nothing else really more we can show at this stage. Alan's going to coat the bits that need coating in that. And he's probably going to need to give it 2 blustery blasts of it. At the end of the video, though, we will pop up some photos of how it's looking so far. Also, if you follow us on Instagram, you can see it there. As always, we do bum up some stuff on Instagram. We haven't been using it as much recently because our YouTube's been getting quite busy. We're getting very close to the 500 mark.
Super exciting.
We're on 497 at filming of this, so we could actually be on 500 by the time this goes up, depending on what, because we're sort of doing a video every 2 days at the moment.
Yeah.
And we've got a load of Rumbleslam coming back up, and we've got a load of other videos coming up. So it'll depend when this specifically goes up on the channel. We will have to think of something in terms of a 500 subscriber competition, because apparently that's like the done thing now. But at this stage, we're just a little shocked we even got to the 500, or we're getting to the 500 mark.
Oh, absolutely.
So
I'm over the moon, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm very, very happy with it. Especially because when we started out, as we said, we expected maybe 100 in the first year. And we're not even a year in yet. I mean, we're coming up to a year. Are we like March? I think it was. We put up our first videos.
Ooh, probably.
March, April
something
time.
Like that, yeah.
So we're like 10, 11 months. And to hit 500 for us is really, really exciting. And I'm genuinely happy about it. I know I make jokes and I say like 2 people watch. But everybody that watches, we do appreciate, especially when they take the time to comment. Especially when those comments are mocking you.
Oh.
That makes us happy.
But yeah.
Yeah, but no, as always, like, subscribe, leave us a comment below, especially if you are digging these painting videos. I know the lighting's not brilliant on them and it is something we're going to sort out, but it's more the techniques and sort of the descriptiveness that we're showing. But no, I'm happy enough with everything so far. I think the channel's going in the direction more so than we even thought it would.
Yeah, definitely.
So, do you want to tell them what they need to do?
Well, I normally say it later on, but I ding that bell. But it's normally after you've said, we've screwed up the script. Right, cut this.
No,
scrap
we
the whole
will
video.
not cut this.
I'm going to burn this model.
Indeed. But
I'm out of here.
Guys, stay on for the next
I don't know.
Indeed. But no, as always,
Goodbye.
guys, thank you very much for watching. Stay on to the end of this video to see just some shots of it finish, or where it's up to now, because it's not finished. They will need a third part just to finish it off, base it and stuff like that. And thank you guys for watching. Take care, and pray the dice gods hope to smile upon you. Say goodbye.
Bye.
He's petulantly sulking like a child.